Hey y'all, Troy here. Today's a pretty cool day. I've got someone next to me who you may or may not know. If you don't know him, you're about to right now. Eric Bostrom, multi-time AMA champion, all-around fast dude, all-around good guy. Today we're riding some electric motorcycles, which we'll get to later, but right now I want to welcome Eric. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks for coming out and playing in the canyons with me.
Oh, beats being in the office.
Yes, it does. Every time.
Right. Now, you've been retired from the AMA scene for what, a couple years now?
Yeah, 2011, so it's been a few.
So what are you doing these days?
Racing some bicycles for fun, but you know, like pretty active, and then some motorcycle development with Bramo. We've been chipping away. It's been a really stimulating project.
Can you tell us more about that? I mean, what do they have you doing?
Everything from my side is mostly to make the electric bike feel very much like a motorcycle, you know, to make the platform stable, develop the chassis, and then make the throttle response on, you know, both the acceleration side and the deceleration side feel very intuitive, and we're making ground.
So how did the two of you and Bramo hook up and get together? How did this whole thing start?
Good question. I was sitting around in 2012 going, I want to ride some motorcycles, you know? I've been spinning my brains out on the bicycle, and they had invited me to go to Laguna Seca and race the FIM round on the E-Moto World Championship or whatever it was called at the time. so I you know, it sounded like a good idea, and I went out and rode the bike, and I said, oh, bike needs some work, guys. But I was intrigued, and you know, racing the bicycles, you kind of get used to like this kind of quiet yet focused scene, and so it kind of overlapped where I was at in life, you know, and they also gave me the opportunity to kind of like give back, because I think as a racer you end up kind of like take for so long because you just have all these resources going at you, and I was finally at a time in my life where I felt like I could give something back to the riding community and you know, my peers.
What do you think of the current AMA scene? I mean,
it's always a little bit of a heartbreaker to see something that, you know, you've seen it in many different states, but I think, you know, I probably raced at somewhat the peak of the sport here in the US. So to see it, you know, hit some difficult times, trying times, my heart goes out for the younger riders because I want them to have the same opportunities that I had. However, like the racing on the racetrack, like if you look, you know, from a very narrow scope, the racing's been really good. So all of that is really healthy. It's just the opportunity isn't what it was, and there's limited spots, so that's why you'll see more, you know, runaway kind of shows, because there's just fewer competitive machines. Sport, it needs support, and somehow you got to structure the classes so that you give the manufacturers a carrot to get back in there, because ultimately the sport needs to be a development tool for the manufacturers. That's why, you know, a company like Bramo goes and races their motorcycles, is so that you know, the development and the improvements will see their way into production in the future years. And that's where the AMA is maybe missing it right now, in my opinion. They need to work closer to the manufacturers and really have those discussions to say, what do you guys need to come back and play here?
Let's move on from the present and go towards the past and talk about your career. Can you walk us through some of your highlights? What are some of the best moments you have as a motorcycle racer, as an international motorcycle racer? I mean, you've had quite a career. What are some of the best points for you?
It was 2001, and my brother and I, it was Laguna Seca World Superbike. I think Ben and I had like some, you know, like you know, pretty good times going into the race, and then at the racetrack we're out there riding around, and you know, like FP1 and FP2, and it was like Bostrom at the top of the board, and then you like start like looking down, and then it was like, you know, Edwards, Bayliss, Hodge, and like all the, you know, all these big names, Haga, and just on and on, and it just like that, I don't know, like full heart of seeing, you know, like just, you know, the Bostrom name duplicated at the top of the screen. It stayed like that for most of the practice sessions, and you know, we had a great weekend. We both ran up front. Ben won both races. I won the AMA race. Like it was a cool weekend. Just had a I think I won the 600 race too. I mean, we won everything that weekend. I didn't win I raced World Superbike, and but you know, the point was it was just there was so much energy, and the fans of motorcycle race are really passionate, really cool, and they just like took it up like several notches. So what would have been all time went like way beyond that.
I gotta say, it's because of you that I fell in love with the ZX7 Kawasaki.
She's a big, hefty girl, and I've heard this, you know, many times before, which was, you know, people show up to the races and go, I own a ZX7 because of you, you know, like, you know, that stuff, that's a big decision in a motorcyclist's life, which bike they're gonna buy. It's, you know, it's, and to have, you know, that, you know, confirmation that I was a part of that decision felt really good. You know, it's an older era bike. It did a lot of things differently than bikes do today. I think, you know, bikes today sort of work on getting grip, and they kind of force themselves into the asphalt. And, you know, the older era bikes sort of slid around on top and just danced around. But with that, you had a ton of front end feel, and the whole bike, I always knew right where I was at. I felt like I could really override the bike and just disrespect the shit out of the thing and slap the thing and go, no, you're coming with me, you know. And I just some of the best riding experiences ever, just, you know, squeezing it for all it's worth.
And then when we reached later part of your career, you didn't really have a farewell tour or anything like that. I mean, was that kind of planned, or was that just the way it worked out?
What happened is in 2006, I you know, rode real well, and then 2007 we went back to superbike racing with Yamaha, and I was riding again, like I was riding good, you know, and we were finishing on the podium on a bike that shouldn't have been on the podium. But as long as, like, say, as long as you rode the bike and you really felt like you made the thing dance, like that was enough for me, because I really raced as more to race the racetrack than the competitor. I like that feeling of trying to get everything out of the bike. And so the reason that I kind of ended up going away from things is in 2008, the R1 actually became a really good superbike. The development had come a long ways. There was some collaboration with the Italian World Superbike team, and I didn't ride the bike well. And that, I think, really just was too much for me to bear, that something I felt like I had done so well for so long and came somewhat natural. I was, you know, just overthinking it and not getting everything out of the machine. I felt like I was doing the bike a disservice, so I took a break, because I don't know, I think I lost my way a little bit.
I'm gonna say some names, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about these names. Good, bad, ugly, otherwise, be honest, tell the truth. Okay. Here we go, you ready?
Yeah.
Matt Mladin.
Ugly.
I love it, I love it! Perfect.
Great competitor, but he was 180 degrees opposite from everything I was about, which was like, you know, racing the track and having a good time being at the track, and it seemed like he just raced to beat the competition, and he wanted to be as far away from the track and the people as possible.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Here's a good one. Ben Bostrom.
Ben Bostrom is the guy that everyone would love to wear his shoes, and
care to elaborate on that one?
Myself included. He just goes through life with a finesse, and you never really know, even Ben doesn't know which Ben he's gonna be that day, and he can be the guy that is, you know, the fastest guy on the planet, and he might win a World Superbike race or grind Lance Armstrong off his back wheel on a bicycle, and he's done both. But then you might get the Ben that shows up and is just like, yeah, I'm here to like chill, and none of those things happen.
Lastly, Eric Bostrom.
Eric Bostrom. God, how do you
shithead. Here's your chance.
Be able to live the life where you like step into stardom and then step out of it, and you're able to kind of bounce back and forth. just been the best life, and I'm so glad that you know, this is something that I can do until I die. You know, I love two wheels.
It feels cool to kind of get this chance to come full circle, ride bikes with you now, sit here and chat with you, and just kind of spend a cool day together. So thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Troy.